Cloudcast Media. Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, amplifying the voices of social impact organizations, entrepreneurs, local nonprofits, and other community champions who shape the culture, creativity, and connectivity of San Diego. Brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, bringing good things to San Diego for over 60 years. Learn more about what is good for you and good for all by visiting www.missionfed.com.
I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media, and you're listening to a special edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show. We are the nation's longest-running community podcast. Now in our 18th year, we're doing a special remote edition here up at Mount Soledad National Veterans Memorial on this wonderful Memorial Day 2024. Honored to have back in the studio Amy Forsythe. She's a trustee. Well, I'll let you tell what you are.
Well, thank you, Drew. So great to be here on this amazing day, Memorial Day, where we celebrate and we honor those that were lost in combat and serving our military. But we're at the Mount Soledad National Veterans Memorial, and it's in La Jolla, California. And it is such an honor to be here on this day, of all days in particular. And so I'm helping Neil O'Connell with doing some media engagement, doing their social media, and really just anywhere I can plug in and help. And you may or may not know, but Neil O'Connell was my sergeant major when we deployed together.
Thank you for your service, by the way, and bless your heart working for Neil.
Yeah, well, so I was an enlisted Marine combat correspondent, and we deployed together to Iraq in 2006, and then again in 2008. And so Neil has just been kind of a real impactful person in my life during service from Camp Pendleton, and he invited me to partake and participate and be on the board of trustees. And so it really helped, I want to say, shape my impression of what service means. And after my service, a way to find purpose again and plug back in with people that I deployed with, I thought, okay, anything you say, Sergeant Major, I'm there for you. And so bringing me into the fold with this team really has been, I want to say, therapeutic or, a lifesaver, really. And so being here now on these signature events, such as Memorial Day and Veterans Day. But my background is as a Marine combat correspondent, and I'm also currently in the Navy Reserves, too. I'm still serving.
Thank you for continuing to serve.
Yeah, thank you. And I am a public affairs officer, and so I really have one foot in, still in the military, and then one foot out working in the nonprofit sector and really helping be a resource for people.
Right. So did you work with a lot of the journalists that were embedded in Iraq?
That was basically my exclusive job, is to work with the media, find the right partners for them, find the right interview folks, and shepherd them around and basically, take care of them, but respond to their queries, provide them content if they didn't already have the right footage or the right photos that would come from myself and other combat correspondents. And so a lot of the images you see out there come from me and other folks like me.
So you may or may not know I worked for 20 plus years at the Union Tribune. I was in charge of community and public relations, and the part of my job was to promote what we were certainly doing from a media standpoint, in addition to being philanthropic. So I worked with our military reporters who were embedded in Iraq. I'm not sure if you knew Jim Cawley at all, and who worked with us, and Ernie Grafton. So, but I'll never forget this. So Herb Klein, who was in President Nixon's administration, was our editor-in-chief of the Union Tribune, and I'm not sure if you worked with Herb at all.
I didn't directly, but the name definitely sounds familiar. But Ernie Grafton, of course.
Yes, a Marine.
Served with him, actually, as he was on his way out and retiring. I was just kind of coming up through the ranks. But went on to such a fantastic, fabulous career.
100%.
So talented and so proud to have served with him. And then he just made such a lasting impact in his civilian career as well. But Tony Perry,
Yes.
I was out with Tony Perry many times and on Camp Pendleton, of course, Iraq too. And so lucky to be a part of that era working with media.
Yeah, and I think what's, of course, I'm a little prejudiced because I worked with the media for so long, and obviously you have too, and on that. But maybe you can talk a little bit about just how important, and how valuable, really good, top-notch, in my field, newspaper, but it could be broadcast journalism, military reporters are to folks like you.
Yeah, so inspiring, really, because their talent and their insights. I mean, someone like Gidget Fuentes, who she's worked for many years through covering the military and the Marine Corps specifically, 30 plus years. And I've sat with her and talked with her, and, her knowledge level and of those people covering the military is second to none, really, and they understand through the eras and through the generations of what it means to serve. And so it's so niche, but it's so deep, and their vast knowledge helps convey our message correctly so that the taxpayers and the families and the citizens that live near a military base or a military community better understand what the military is trying to do. And, the good, the bad, the ugly, we rely on the military media, or the media who have their beat in the military, understand correctly what's really going on.
Yeah, I'm really so glad to hear that. And, my colleagues at the Union Tribune, Gretel and Nell, they went and did a few tours in Afghanistan. I'm not sure if you worked with them at all.
I have, yes. Gretel, second, just top-notch knowledge. And Nell Cepeda, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I still see his byline.
Yeah, he's the best.
He really is. And those, we rely on them for, the accuracy, and that we're grateful that papers like Union Tribune don't just throw anyone at it. They really are well crafted in terms of their understanding. It's not just a cover today and not tomorrow. They really are invested in the learning and building on the foundation of what they know and how they report. You're all in for that.
Well, I appreciate that, and I know I left the Union Tribune after 4 billion years in 2020, but it was just great working with those folks, and I go to the SDMAC breakfast every month and working closely with Admiral Ballmer, who's taken some time off and so forth, and SDMAC, an iconic organization as well. But I'm really glad to hear that, because sometimes people go, well, the journalists are always trying to dig up bad stuff. I said, no, what you do, we try to get to the facts. And you understand this because it's the world you live in as well. We're chatting with Amy Forsythe, a communication expert, a trustee for the Mount Soledad Memorial Association. I'm Drew Schlosberg. You're listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, a special edition here at Mount Soledad National Veterans Memorial on this Memorial Day 2024, brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union. Talk about this book signing you were doing.
Well, I was lucky enough to be invited to go to the USS Midway Museum over Memorial Day weekend on Sunday, and the turnout, oh my gosh, it was packed. And I did hear a lot of I wouldn't say foreigners or visitors, people not really associated with the military. And so I was so grateful that they would have me on, and I sold a lot of books. People are very
congratulations.
Thank you, very interested in the legacy of the Marines at Camp Pendleton, in which my book chronicles. It's titled Heroes Live Here, a tribute to Camp Pendleton Marines since 9/11. And so what I learned after my deployments to Iraq and Afghanistan, coming back to Camp Pendleton, there's so many memorials on base that were new or that have been refreshed since obviously World War II, Korea, Vietnam, but now the post 9/11 generation of the Marines that served at Camp Pendleton and went forward to Iraq and Afghanistan. And in my research for putting the book together, I learned that more Marines were killed from Iraq and Afghanistan that were based at Camp Pendleton than any other one base or station in America. So our community here in San Diego, North County, Oceanside, Carlsbad, Fallbrook, San Clemente have been so supportive over those, especially that 20-year period, that it's really a testament to the community that we live in, and that the Marines are good partners, and that the media has covered this. But again, a book with just the pictures and the stories, the backstories of the names we've heard and seen. But through 20 years, some of the very first Marines to die in Afghanistan, and then the very last group, the ones that were killed in 2021 at HKIA, in Kabul, were from Camp Pendleton.
Yeah.
And so those bookends really mean something to me. And for the Marines that have long left the area, or Gold Star families who can't come back to the base, just wanting them to know that we remember their names and their sacrifices with these memorials. And so the book opens up that to people who can't get on base and see these tributes. But it's been really fascinating that the community has been so supportive with the book called Heroes Live Here. And the Midway Museum, Terry Kraft and his team have just been so supportive. And it's called Legacy Week at the memorial. So myself as a veteran, they welcomed me and allowed me to come and set up a booth and share the story about the Marines who sacrificed so much during wars in Iraq and Afghanistan.
How did we get the book?
You can order the book online at heroeslivehere.com. And what I really love about having a website is that those orders come to me directly. I get to sign the book and send it to the customer. People can find it on Amazon, of course, but it goes straight to the printer, and then it goes straight to the customer, so I never get to sign it.
Right.
But either way, they can definitely reach out. I love to connect with people, especially people who have a connection to Camp Pendleton from all eras, who've served there. They'll recognize the places and the streets and the names and the stories from the base. I have a lot about the history of the base, which is just a phenomenal place. You've been up there.
Of course.
And it actually is tied with the old California. The rich California of Camp Pendleton is tied to the California history and the mission system. And there's some old buildings that the Marine Corps has really done a great job of preserving. The old ranch house, people may be familiar with that. The rancho, it was a working cattle ranch before the Marine Corps took it over.
No, it's certainly iconic, and hopefully no one sits there and thinks about getting that land. It's going to stay with us forever. At least, as much as I can do, which is nothing, to be honest with you on that. In our next minute or two, talk about what it means to be a trustee of this wonderful association.
Well, it is really an honor and a privilege to be a part of the team that helps with the advising of the executive director and then his team. But we also have a way to get out the word about ways to participate, whether a veteran wants to have a plaque or wants to do a ceremony here, or military active duty can come and do a promotion or a reenlistment or a retirement ceremony. And being a part of something that is world class, people from all over the world come here to see the views, and then learn about our veterans that are on the plaques and the walls here. It speaks to the dedication for more than 70 years, celebrating the 70th anniversary of Mount Soledad. And so it's just a really special spot. And tens of thousands of people come up here, throughout the year. But you can go online and find these amazing, gorgeous views from up top, high atop in La Jolla on Mount Soledad, the history here. But what Neil and his team have done is put together a world-class destination for people visiting from outside of San Diego. And surprisingly, I've met people that actually live in San Diego that have never been here.
100%. It shocks me.
And so it truly, it's open to the public. It's free to come and look around. And that's what makes it so tremendous. And being a part of the board of trustees that trust in helping shape the future of the memorial, but also in the day-to-day operations. We have veteran honor ceremonies, we have these signature events, and it's just truly a wonderful experience for me to spend my time donating my time and energy to get the word out, to help people understand really the legacy that's here.
Yeah, without question. Amy, good seeing you again. Thank you for your work as a trustee for the memorial here, and enjoy the ceremony.
Oh, thank you so much. Thanks for coming up and highlighting this wonderful facility and memorial that we have here in San Diego County.
Absolutely, our pleasure. I'm Drew Schlosberg, and you've been listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show. We are the nation's longest-running community podcast, now in our 18th year, brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union for 6 decades, doing great things for San Diegans. In our region, honored to be doing a special edition here up at Mount Soledad National Veterans Memorial on this Memorial Day 2024. We hope you enjoyed the interview.
You've been listening to an episode of Drew Schlosberg's Spotlight on the Community Show, amplifying the voices of social impact organizations, entrepreneurs, local nonprofits, and other community champions who shape the culture, creativity, and connectivity of San Diego community. Brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, bringing good things to San Diego for over 60 years. Learn more about what is good for you and good for all by visiting www.missionfed.com.
Cloudcast Media.